What's up, y'all? This is Everything's Blurred, episode 31. What's good, y'all? It's yours truly, Brown here.
What's going on, y'all? I'm the one that is ready for these cicadas to get the hell out of Dodge for real. I am the MR dot SHAUN, Mr. Sean. Welcome to episode 31. It's two-thirds of the blur right now. It's the Corolla cousins right now. You know what I'm saying? Tommy may join us. We'll see what happens. Um, we don't have a lot of topics to talk about. We're just going to talk about something. We have one that we're going to talk about. We're going to try and do these ever so often. Where we just talk about a certain topic and just go from there. The episode will be about that particular topic. Excuse me. And the topic that we're going to talk about is something that we love and that we talk about every week, not just on here, but on the daily. This is something that when I told people that, I was going to be part of a podcast, people immediately thought that it was based on this particular thing. And it kind of is. So this whole episode is dedicated to the culture. It is dedicated to something that was created in the Bronx, New York in 1973, August. We talking about hip hop. All right. So we're gonna get started with that. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. On my brown sugar tip, B, when did you first fall in love with hip hop?
I met this girl when I was 12 years old. But so let me see. I fell in love with hip hop. I want to say I was four, five or six. That's when I first heard about. Well, at the time, you know, my father at the time and my cousin Jay.
Shout out to Jay.
Yeah, and that's why I heard about hip hop. And I think the first couple of songs I remember was definitely like Run DMC, Run This Way, um, It Takes Two, Bob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, Houdini, definitely Rest in Peace, Ecstasy.
Rest in peace to ecstasy.
Yeah, Freeze Come Out at Night and Friends and One Love. And then I was, the show, Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, because I was like, yo, who's this guy? Who's this that did the Spectre Gadget? So I was like, oh shit, who's this? And then I think as time went on, that's when I started. I think that's when I heard about it, but I started going more into it as time went on. I think what made me love it was around the late '80s, early '90s. You know, Slick Rick and Children's Story, of course, and Hey Young World. I ain't gonna lie, I was a Hammer fan.
Same.
I thought he was the
I
greatest.
watched the cartoon as
Yeah,
well.
you know what I'm saying? I thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, since Wonder Bread, bro. Until, he said he was the greatest entertainer. He thought he was better than Michael Jackson. That's why I was like, whoa, Hammer. Don't hurt him. You gotta watch it. I mean, yeah, after Too Legit to Quit video, he dissed Mike. Like, oh, I don't like this. Like, for real. So, yeah. So after Pumps in the Bumper, I went back to hip hop. I went back to real hip hop after
All that we want is the girl that's on back. Sing it.
Bumps in the bump, bumps in the
Bump
bump.
in the bump,
We got the girls in the
bump.
bumps in the bump.
We got the girls with the bumps in the bump. Deion Sanders and hey girl, calling all the girls.
It's prime time. Yeah, you know what it is. It's going down at Hammer's
And
house.
then they collaborate later on with Straight to My Feet off the
Yeah,
Street Fighter soundtrack.
yeah,
Look that up if y'all don't know that one.
yeah. But at that time, after that phase, yeah, definitely early '90s when De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, definitely them guys, and Black Moon and Black Sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And I started loving hip hop. But that's definitely, especially Tribe. Tribe definitely got me.
Rest in peace to Fife, dog.
Reference piece to Fife, dude, Fife Dog. So definitely, when Tribe and them came about, and but I wasn't even, gangster rap. They was like definitely in the late '80s when NWA, Ice T, and all that. And I couldn't listen to it because it was too violent and Hunter advisory. Even though Cousin Jay had all the music, so it was like yeah. But when Tribe came around, they lied, and it was I could listen to that stuff. But yeah, definitely them. But as time went on, I was definitely on the underground level of hip hop, the native tongue movement, all them, using new school. But now it's venture around. Definitely love the jazz fusion hip hop like that with Tribe and Gangstar and Black Moon and Smith and Wesson. They did, rhyming over jazz samples. Pete Rock and CL Smooth too. So yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, it's around that time.
Word. Man, so I've always felt like hip hop was always in my life, um, but I really didn't get involved into it until about seventh, eighth grade was when I really started to have a serious interest in it. When I was real young, I used to have a Fisher Price record player. My dad, one of the records he gave me, may he rest in peace. He gave me a Fat Boys record,
Yeah, Coach
and
Smooth was definitely my first like introduction to hip hop as well. Definitely.
mm, and when I got to about maybe 5, 6, he introduced me to the song "You Talk Too Much" by Run DMC.
Never shut up. Yeah.
And
It was between that and Houdini Big Mouth. You got a big mouth.
yeah, shout out to Snoop because Snoop redid that joint. He did a
Okay.
joint called Big Mouth later on. Um, excuse me. And so, young, elementary school, it was basically like whatever was on the radio, whatever music videos I saw. I remember, I didn't have cable
Mm-hmm.
in elementary school. So whenever I went over my aunt and uncle's house, shout out to Aunt Reese, Uncle Melvin, they had the box, and the box was like one of the greatest things I've ever watched. I mean, it sucked when times where you had to sit there and wait for somebody to,
Mm-hmm.
to do whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
and then I just remember, Jay, um, he introduced me, well, us, to De La Soul. De La Soul was Dead album. I remember the three of us listened to it in his room. And I was just like, man, this is crazy. And I had a Hammer tape. I had the one that had Too Legit to Quit on it. I was like fifth grade, fourth grade. Remember the cartoon? Remember when Kid and Play had a cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
I remember being mad because uh, you and your dad saw a house party. I couldn't see house party. I remember you had the soundtrack and everything too. That
Yeah,
was
that was my
a
first rated R film. I saw
blast.
in theaters. So that was the first time I actually heard, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I knew, yeah, I could, I take that back. I was gonna say it was gonna be the first time, heard profanity in the film, but no, I think at the time I think it was like, yeah, I knew what pussy was, and I knew what, so stuff like that. It was like those, like, yeah, and whip your ass, kick your fucking ass,
Yeah,
yeah. So like, yeah, that's, but definitely that was my first rated movie.
yeah, man. So it wasn't until I got to about seventh grade, um, Rap City enters my life,
Yeah,
and I develop a big crush on Big Les.
who
Shout
hasn't?
outs to Big
Same here.
Les.
And Ananda.
Yes, and Ananda.
And also, it was just cute. I don't know. I forgot her name. She was
Oh,
cute.
Rachel from Caribbean Rhythms is fine too.
It was this girl in Rap City that Joe Claire was with, and she was like light skinned shorty, and it was I forgot her name. I'm gonna Google so bad. It was she was around the time when Tigger and Big Les was hosting, and there were times where like Tigger and he had like this female with it was like light skin. She was like kind of like a hit. She had that like that Amanda Diva personality. It was I forgot her name because it was one episode Tigger her was like kicking it with Posh News from De La Soul and
Plug one.
they was doing a freestyle and she was like yeah she had some freestyle skills and she was like real cool real chill and all that. Forgot her name but yeah 'cause she was cool too. She
Mm-hmm.
ain't stay she wasn't around as long as like Big Les and but she was there like a certain period of time I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember this person.
Yeah, she only had like maybe like she probably was in three host experience. I'm like a Google right now. So like yeah, she was like definitely she was cool.
Gotcha. So like and then and I just remember when they would have Wednesdays was old school Wednesday. So they would show all
Mm,
the old school videos from the 80s and interview different rappers from back then. And when you would hear them talk about, you know, their career and how it was back then, it was like, oh man, sounds interesting. And then, excuse me, MTV would have like they had a couple like little docu series and one episode, couple episodes had dealt with hip hop and like the history of it, and I thought it was like super intriguing because I didn't know that's how it came about,
mm,
you know, and um, so we're like in the '90s now with this one, man, and this is when you know I was too young to appreciate '88 because that's like the first golden era of hip hop. '94, I'm kind of coming up, so it's like I'm more aware of what's going on, but I
mm,
couldn't buy the music because of the parental advisory sticker, like you said. So, but this is, Big Nas, Woo, Snoop, Death Row, Bad Boy, like I said, Tribe, all these guys. Busta Rhymes is on the come up. The Dungeon family is starting to come up. Things of that nature. So it's all these different acts. Scarface is popping right now. Eight Ball and MJG, UGK, all that. Then when I hit about eighth grade on up, that's when I started buying stuff. I started reading the source, reading Vibe magazines, subscribing to the magazines, kind of knowing what's up,
mm.
understanding what the lyrics, paying attention to lyrics and beats and things of that nature. Me and my friends, we sharing tapes, or making tapes for each other, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, if you can, um, text Tommy, because he just hit up the group chat. Um, He want to know if we still pod. He want to know if we still pod. Um, but just hit him, text him when you can. Let him know we
Just
podding right now. Please. And so tell him to hop on in. If you can. So um, yeah. So high school comes around, and that's when I'm like really paying attention, and I'm writing rhymes at this time because I felt inspired, and um, and I'm having conversations with people about different artists and things of that nature. Then it wasn't until maybe 11th, 12th grade I remember um hmm, I'm gonna say 12th grade, right? I remember you had Sound Bomb and 2. That album really introduced me to the underground, right? And certain like people with that style of rap had major labels.
mm,
So when they was on major labels, so when their deals fell through, when they went indie, and I'm hearing about them, I'm like, oh man, I remember them Sound Bomb. Let me check them out. And that opened up my ears to just cats I never really knew about. So this is when I'm starting to know about Dilated Peoples, a little bit more about Exhibit. You know what I mean? Pharoah Monch, Shabam Sadiq,
whole ruckus
uh,
era.
um, um, Company Flow. That's where LP started.
Hmm. A lot of
You know
people
what I
don't know that.
mean? You didn't know that?
That's a lot of people don't know that. They
Oh yeah,
used
a
to
lot of people don't know that.
think
Yeah,
about Run the Jewel.
yes.
They don't know him from Company Four.
I don't know if, and if you go back and listen to that stuff and listen to what's going on now, LP was low key ahead of his time with this
Hmm.
sound,
Hmm.
and I can appreciate it more now because back then I didn't.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm starting to know about what's my man Thurston Hell the Third, and starting to find out about the Low Lives and what they were doing out in New York. You know what I'm saying? Um, and just a bunch of other acts, and then even going back to remember you put me on the Lyricist Lounge joint and how that that was a joint that kind of stuff because now we're talking about late 90s, you're talking 98. This is the golden era that I clearly remember and was and witnessed and saw and was just like, yo, this is ill because you talking rest in peace to X, we're going to talk about him later. You talk to Pun, rest in peace to Pun. You Cannabis, uh Lord Tariq, Peter Guns, uh the list goes on. These
Hmm.
classic albums come out. Aquemini comes out. In my lifetime, Volume Two, Hard Knock Life, the Love Movement. It's so many, so much stuff. You got, you know, Master P and No Limit.
Hmm.
Um, um, Cash Money. So it's all these different acts doing their thing, and it's just like, man, this is so crazy, and 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 I'm a nerd in school, so when I wound up, they hearing me talking about hip hop, they're like, man, what you know about rap?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm in these conversations and I'm proving them wrong.
Yeah.
They hear I write rhymes, they don't think I can write rhymes because I'm a nerd. They thinking I'm going to speak some more Pythagorean theory and shit. Then they hear me rap and they're like, all right, and it was just like that, from then on. And as I got older, I started figuring out about samples and how stuff is getting sampled, feeling the original records. You know what I mean? Um, we starting to know people that make beats and rhyme and sing and all this other stuff. So you learn it from them. You learn about certain artists that they rock with. I remember the day, man, when I became a Little Brother fan. I forgot who had the CD, either Devon, either Devon or Myth. Shout out to them.
He,
But
it was Devon. Myth had it first. Mifflin had it, but she burned it. She burned. She made it. She let him made him a CD, and then um, he made me a CD. So like same thing too. And also he had it on eBay. Shout out to eBay. So was it eBay? I could be wrong. But anyway,
he bought that album off eBay,
no, I'm sorry. Not eBay.
Amazon, maybe.
No, it wasn't eBay. I'm sorry. It was what it was it at the time. It wasn't no Amazon or none of that time. It was
Hip
like
hop site.
huh?
Hip hop site.
Maybe I want to say so. I think it was a hip hop site. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I
Was
think
it hip hop? Shout out to
yeah,
hip hop site. Hip hop site, man.
yeah,
I learned a lot off that.
yeah. I think it was hip hop site that he got it from because he had because it was like those that ordered. He also got the Ninth Vinegar remix CD that then he remixed over E. Marie, Ron From Love, and what else? Prodigy, Super Thorough. He made me burn. He burnt me that one too. That was, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I went. So,
yeah. So
I think
like, cause
that's
I
it.
remember they was in the crib. They showed up at the spot,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the joint, the little brother joint, to listening, and we playing. And she like, this is fire. And the next thing I know, uh, I think it was one of them. They said, "Yeah, I got it," and it was like, bring it in, burn it. Like I looked at her like, burn it.
What's crazy was like because the little brother, I found out from him on OK Player,
Right.
okplayer.com, that they at the time like before you go on OK Player, they had like this little like I want to say like a preview of they did like an advertisement of the certain
Mm-hmm.
artists they featuring,
Mm-hmm.
and the featured artist was Little Brother, and it was like yeah, if you want to learn more about him and click on this the website,
Here, yeah,
it
yeah.
led you to the I forgot what label they were on at the time for the listening, and I heard the snippets, and I'm like, man, this is tight. I want to get it, but I'm broke. College.
Like most college
Yeah.
students.
Until when Mifflin heard Mifflin had that, I think, what? Man, burn that shit. Burn me a copy, man. I want that shit too.
Yeah, yeah, I remember it, man. He burned we burned that shit, boy. And
Yo, you know what I was thinking about the other day? Undergroundhiphop.com.
wow.
Yo, yeah, you remember they had the instrumentals and stuff? And like, and I remember that time, I think, was you there with us? Me, Jerry, Devon, my friend, well, Trent was my roommate at the time. Sorry, I just we always make fun of no, because we joke about ever since we became roommates in high school. Like when we graduated from high school, he wrote in my thing, "Yeah, roommates for life." I'm like, "Yeah." Ain't... so yeah, that's why we always joke about that. But so when he was my roommate, even I had this dude named Grantley, and he had a computer, and he
You
used to
talking about when the Cypher fam started. This is
yeah,
what
yeah.
you talking
He used to
about.
freestyle. And he used to freestyle off the instrumentals off underground hip hop. And that's why they I
Because
just
there was times where I had instrumental mixtapes and you was like, yo, let me grab some of them. And
the
y'all would
only time
go in y'all
Eight
room and
Mile
y'all would
came out,
freestyle.
when 8 Mile came out, everybody wanted to be B Rabbit.
Everybody wanted to rap.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be B Rabbit or Papa Doc. So and then the Freestyle Fridays was happening at the time on BET and on MTV.
106 apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
The calf used to be packed on Fridays because I remember when they kind of started that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was around the same year when the movie theater opened up on
Mm-hmm.
campus. So we would so like the calf would be packed around dinner time, right? Because everybody want to see, the the Freestyle Friday. We will watch the Freestyle Friday because it'd be on the small TVs hanging up on the side and that main TV on the other side. So everybody be there watching it, react off of it, right? When it was over with, not long after dinner's over with, the movie was starting, like
Yeah.
7, 8. So you would go right from, and it was all in the same building. So from the
Mm-hmm.
caf, you go right to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just sit there and chill. And it was a different, and then something happened. I think it got flooded. And that's when
Yeah.
shit got
It
boring.
always got,
Even more boring on
it always got
campus.
flooded. It
Shout
always,
out to UMES.
it always got flooded. I was like, man, Tom, always got flooded, man. Like, man,
We have entered a new challenger has entered, a new player has entered on some arcade game shit.
right.
I'm saying we'll wait till he gets himself together. But Tommy isn't in the joint. Feel me?
Check,
Um,
check, check.
here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There he is
three
representing.
three thirds of the blurred in effect now.
We, it's all together now.
I know, for real. We're Voltron right now.
We is all together
I
now.
know.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the first time that the cousins are side by side. It's like, hey, cuz, come on, give me a 5. Come on, man, give me 5. That's side.
You're on my side.
Oh,
And
for
I was all effed up.
is
Three
that?
five on the black hand side. All right.
I know, right? We slapping each other.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever, nigga. You here.
What up, bro? Yeah.
Tommy, this is a topic we just focus on one topic this week. The topic is hip hop, unsurprisingly. I just asked B earlier when did he on some brown sugar stuff, like when did he first fall in love with hip hop? Still going through my answer. So we'll get to you in a little bit. So so this is, so I'm getting more involved with the underground stuff.
You was down with the
And
underground.
and another thing that helped me out was rest in peace to DJ Spinbad. DJ Spinbad put out a joint called with Echo Unlimited called Underground Airplay Volume 1. And that's how I learned about Jean Grey, PH, RIP to PH. Master Ace was making a comeback around this time. Because him and this dude named Bad Seed had beef. And they just did it on wax, you know what I'm saying? And Self-Scientific, just a bunch of different cats, man. Some that I knew, some that I was just learning about, things of that nature.
Yo, Spin Pad Pass?
And
DJ Spin Pad, Spin Bad Pass.
yeah. Last year.
Didn't know that.
That's what I want to say. But Spinbad did pass away. Yeah. I remember that. Because he was a DJ for a famous comedian. I can't think of homie's name. He's an Indian dude. Not Aziz Ansari. I can't think of homie's name right
now. November. I know that.
Yeah. So this is how I'm learning about like underground cats, that, and shout outs to Strictly Hip Hop on Morgan State University. Learned a lot, even including local cats, doing their thing. And I would just every Friday, like I couldn't wait to come home, or when I, got out and I graduated. Damn, I'm saying got out like I just got out of jail and shit. Yeah, when I got out of prison, you know what I'm saying? I just went right home and listened to some hip hop. So just kind of I would listen to that every Friday, and I would just learn about certain people, and yeah, and wasn't super big into like B said, I wasn't big into gangster rap like that neither. But I remember because it's all kind of sounded the same, and it wasn't until I bought a book called Can't Stop Won't Stop. It was about the history of hip hop, and I learned so much, and it really broke down for me how gangster rap got started. And I was like, and it made sense. And I swear, not long after I read that chapter, I was hanging out with some people, and in the whip they was playing the Chronic. After I read that chapter and heard the Chronic, everything made sense. And it was like, oh man, this is great. How did I sleep? Wow, you know. So and to this day, I'm still learning and still listening to different acts. You know what I'm saying? Even the stuff that's going on now, there's some newer acts that I rock with. Um, and certain ones that I don't. But yeah, man. Love the music, love the culture. I love how the fact that people thought it was just going to be a fad, just a trend and go
Yeah,
away. And here we are 40 plus years later.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how, as a culture, how hip hop took from so many other cultures. You know what I mean? Sports, fashion, sneakers, cars, all that. And as time went on, the people that are part of these other cultures embraced hip hop. You know what I mean? You seeing what MJ is doing, and the different sneakers he got going on. You know what I mean? And we can go down the line with sports with that. You know what I mean? With Shaq doing
mm-hmm.
music, Damian Lillard. We found out that the Kobe's album just got leaked or whatever from 20 years ago, stuff like that. And then Run DMC with the my Adidas, they started that. You know, when Dr. Dre and them was talking about Impalas and stuff like that, switches and rims, and we get into the car stuff. The fashion shit always been there. You feel me? So now people is in the high fashion, and you have um like hip hop fashion designers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you know, Carl Kanai. He's doing his thing. Then you got Fubu, um, Eniche, Maurice Malone. Um, that's based out in Detroit. And I think his store was the hip hop shop, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so crazy how this thing has evolved so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I fell in love. So Tommy, how did you become a hip hop hit?
Um, well, for me, actually, big shout out to you for actually getting a book and reading it back then. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I can read, I do read, but coming up, reading was not something that I did for leisure at all. Outside of like Jet Magazine, Jet Beauty of the Week.
Me too.
Jet Beauty of the Week, yes,
You
Me
know
sir.
what's
too.
up.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Tommy, me too. Because it was like I wasn't like the school told me make sure you read books in the summer. Okay, turn TV, play video games.
You know what I mean? You know, video
So,
games,
but about
TV,
reading was definitely Entertainment
hooping.
Weekly, Premier Magazine, YSB, Young Sister and Brothers. Taking it back for those that don't remember that.
Hmm.
The,
And see, my parents had my pops had the Jet magazine subscription,
yeah,
My
and my
mom's had
mom's had
one.
the Essence.
yeah, Acid, Jet.
Yeah, at one point in time, we had all the black magazines coming in here. We had Jet, Essence,
Mm.
and
Right On
Ebony.
Magazine.
I
Yo,
would see that
I'm
at
taking it back.
the
I'm
store.
taking it back.
Yeah, I
Right
would
On
see that at the
Magazine was
store.
my
But
choice.
Right On magazine. Okay?
Word up. All that.
Word.
Oh, word.
Yo, and also too, I'm taking it back. Another throwback, Sean. I got another throwback. I also read, and you're gonna laugh when I say it. Disney Adventures.
I was about to bring it up. I was about because I was like, he named all this stuff but Disney Adventures. Come on now,
Disney
don't be
Adventures,
ashamed.
No, I'm not ashamed. I'm really not.
Mm-hmm.
I even made my own, like, try to make my own publication. You remember that, Sean? It was like a bite off of Disney Adventures, but I had like cut out their magazine, cut out their pages, and posted it. And then like, and also too, to show you how much I'm trying to get into the film thing. I had like my like I was interviewing myself, like, yeah, I'm dropping this movie, Kid Brandon, coming out.
Okay, your ass needs to sit down.
No. Just imagine. That's all.
You was in the mirror like, so Brandon, how did you get started? Well, Brandon, I'm glad you asked that.
Not
you
right.
know, that wasn't you.
It was just one issue. It was just one issue.
It was just one issue.
It was one issue. Yeah, it was one issue. It was just one issue. That's all. It wasn't like
what you say?
It was just one issue that I did. That's it. Just one.
Got you. Tommy, please.
Oh yeah. So for me, a lot of people talk about like checking out the box,
mm-hmm.
you know, and Yo MTV Raps when that came about, and
mm-hmm.
you know, all of that.
Shout outs to Fat Five Freddy. Shout outs to Ed Lover and Dr. Dre.
T Money, DJ T Money.
Ed Lover and Dr. Dre was where I really kind of first became familiar with some of the stuff going on the TV side. I got familiar with Fab Five Freddy after the fact, you know, when people would kind of always mention them or be like, yo, y'all can't forget Fab Five Freddy, or you got to pay homage to the guy back when he was doing his thing initially. But for me, it was, you know, we only really listen to music like that in the car, riding to and from places.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, 92Q was still out, you know, they was around forever. V103.
Mm-hmm.
V103, yes sir.
Yep.
Frank Ski back in the day when he was up here. Randy
Ross, Tim Ross. I forgot April Ryan was on V103. I didn't know
really?
that. Yeah. I didn't know that. No, I mean, I heard of the April Ryan.
MSU alum, Morgan State alum. Shout out to
her.
her.
I heard it was the April Ryan, but I didn't know it was going to be her. I was like, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I heard the name back in the day, but I didn't know
April Ryan was coming for Trump's head too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. But yeah. So for me, listening to music was really more of like something that would happen when we was just in the car going to and from places or whatever. So that's when I start picking up different things. You start hearing different artists. I just would hear the songs and be rocking to them when you hear them a certain amount of times, but I never actually got on to certain artists unless you was like big and everybody just knew who you was, you know. So like LL was popping, Salt and Pepper was popping back in the day, Tribe, shoot, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now, but
yeah, me too. It was some stuff, and Sean said a lot that I was like, yeah, me too.
But yeah, I would. So that's when I really started getting on with it. Checking the Jet magazines though, they would also have the top like 20 albums or the top 10 singles charts in the back, and I would always check them too. So that's when I started actually learning some of the people who I would be hearing on the radio at times, because I would read the charts. Oh, I'd be like, oh, that's the name of that artist. Okay. Oh, that's the name of that actual song. Okay. And then probably like middle school, was when I started actually listening a little bit more, paying more attention. And you had your Bone Thugs coming up. You had Wu. You had Big Pun. You had Big was doing this thing, and the Bad Boy, the whole Bad Boy, label was popping at that time. Pac, of course, and that's when I started paying more attention to it, and I was just gravitating more towards hip hop than any other genre of music. R&B would be played, of course, but for me, it was like the hip hop that I really rocked with. And then once I got to high school, that's when I actually started, like just going and copping music. Had my Walkman. Got the Discman later on after high school. You know what I mean? But that's when I actually first started, going and copping different joints. And yeah, and then it just continued to grow. And then once I got to college, then you meet other cats who was like deeper into hip hop than I was. So they would put me on the things that I had never even like heard of or knew about. So I didn't really appreciate Jay until I got to college. You know what I mean? Because I remember Ain't No with Foxy Brown was like the first joint with Jay that I really heard that was getting any radio play. But that was a Foxy joint, I think. I can't remember if that was a Foxy joint or a Jay-Z joint.
I thought it was Jay featuring Foxy, but I want to say it was on a soundtrack.
But Foxy was even more popping at that point too. You know what I mean? Like Hove didn't really.
I think both came out around the same time.
They came out around the same time, but I feel like Foxy was having a little bit more commercial success and attention at that point in time. Like I think once Volume 2 came out, that's when Hove started really.
Yeah, that's when he really.
People was really starting to check for Hove and all of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
I kind of get what you're saying, because I want to say when Reasonable, because I want to say both their albums came out the same year, Reasonable Doubt and Ill Nana. And I want to say Reasonable Doubt probably went gold at first, and then later on, it wound up.
I didn't hear Reasonable Doubt until like 01, I think. So once I heard Reasonable Doubt and I saw Streets is Watching.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And then that's when I started really kind of rocking with Hove, and I always knew of him because of the Il Nana joint with Foxy, and he had been featured on the Ready to Die album, the Life After Death album.
Yes, sir.
With Big, so I knew who he was, but I just wasn't really checking for him like that, really lyrically, until Volume 2 came. And then once that came, that's when I was like, oh, shit, damn, let me go back and listen to some of the earlier catalog. And then that's when I heard Reasonable Doubt. I checked out Streets is Watching. Then I started kind of getting into the, just getting into some of the other stuff. Then I started looking. You hear like freestyles from way back when, like him and Big L did a joint. That's
that's the infamous right there. The Stretch and Bobito show one.
You saw what happened in my last fight, friend? I did.
He did the comment and then the run and then when they were doing that.
What else?
Speaking of that, y'all
I forgot Nas too, because Nas around probably like 90. Is it like 94, 93, 94 with If I Ruled the World drop with him and Lauryn Hill. The Fugees obviously coming up at that time. So yeah, it was all these different now kind of like classic world renowned, well respected artists was doing their thing. But I was just kind of listening to the radio stuff um, before actually checking and going out to try to grab stuff
Right.
for myself. So yeah, I started becoming a much bigger fan of certain artists as I got in college and was checking and listening to more. Started listening to more Outkast at that point in time, um, and all of that. So yeah, and then I guess the internet coming up and coming about uh, made other sounds easier to hear
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't, you were no longer just confined to what was just being played locally. You could kind of go online, different sites. You had Napster was popping at the time, so you could just download
LimeWire.
file shares,
Yeah,
LimeWire,
yeah,
sharing,
yeah,
just share
yeah.
file sharing through AOL or through AIM, through Yahoo Instant Messenger, all of that shit.
The age is showing, nigga.
Yeah, you
Nigga
showing the
said,
age, man.
hey, nigga.
So shout out to the old
Shout out
niggas
to
out there.
AIM, shout out to Yahoo Messenger, MSN Message.
No,
All your Facebook messages, it was AIM, Yahoo Messenger.
Yeah, man.
And if you had a
So
BlackBerry, there was a messenger on BlackBerry.
true. And that was the joint, right? Like, what's your pin? All right, cool. Boom. You locked in. Let me change my status. Going to the gym.
Yeah,
two-way pages.
that's dope, man. Another radio show I want to shout out to. Shout out to Rap Attack,
Mm-hmm.
92Q.
Morgan
Rest in
State.
peace to JB, the ball headed wonder.
Yep. Rest
Mm-hmm.
in peace.
Big ups to Butterman.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Pork chop.
and salute the pork chop. Um, I know it's still going on. I think it comes on Sunday nights now. Back in the day, it was Saturday mornings, and then they eventually moved it to Sunday nights.
I'm sorry, I
But I
said
think
rap.
when they made the move, that's when it got a little different.
Sorry, rap
Um,
attack 92 Kid and strictly hip hop. Morgan's strictly hip hop.
yeah. Strictly was more. That was more my speed as time went on.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And then I I got invited a couple times on there because I knew a couple people that was hosting at one point in time. Shout out to Andre the Giant. Shout out to Dropping Jewels. You know what I'm saying? My little sis Dropping Jewels, she was hosting it. They would tell me, yo, come through, you know. But I never I was always tired. but but just but yeah. Yeah, these are dope hip hop origin stories, gentlemen.
Yeah, so
Uh
yeah, it's just and then listening to not listen to, but actually checking out certain websites. So like
yes.
All Hip Hop was
Yes.
one.
That was my
Um,
joint. Yeah.
I used to just rock out on Dat Piff and just kind of listen
Mm-hmm.
to different samples, different
SOHH.com.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
SOHH hiphopgame.com.
Hip Hop
Hip hop
Shout out
DX.
to
site.
my man
I forgot
Show.
about Hip Hop
Show
DX too.
put
Yeah.
us on the hip hop game. Breon was saying earlier about how he found out about Little Brother. He was on K Play. They had like this little advertisement joint where, oh, if you want to hear some more, click here.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop game must have had to deal with Baby Grand or something. Because anytime Baby
Mm-hmm.
Grand had a
Yeah, some
project coming out,
yeah,
you
they
could listen to snippets of it. That's how I got to learn about certain people. That's how more so on the underground tip. That's how I got to learn more about apathy,
mm-hmm.
Jedi mind tricks. Um, I kind of knew about uh Aguilar before that, but when he was on Baby Grand, this joint and a couple other joints, man. Um, and hip hop site, I copped a lot of underground stuff off of hip hop site. And they would and with your purchase, they would give you like a little sampler joint. They would play different art, and that's how I knew about some other stuff. And um yeah, man. It's just so many different outlets. And then later on, as I got a little older, two dope boys came into my life, and Hip Hop
Mm-hmm.
DX,
Mm-hmm.
and oh yeah, of
That's what I
course,
was gonna say.
Double
Hip Hop
XL.
DX, yeah, and two
Yeah,
dope boys.
double
But I
XL
didn't.
too.
I never got too deep on two dope boys because I thought two dope boys was more of a. I thought it was kind of like the same thing as that Piff almost,
Mm,
where different projects was out and
hmm
you could get
They you could download mixtapes off of Hip Hop DX at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
You
would
can't
have
no
a
more.
link where they would tell you about certain joints,
hmm
and
uh,
and that's how I found out about certain people too.
I'm okay
So
player.
yeah. Oh yeah, of course,
okayplayer.com.
OK Player. We can't forget. I think OK Player is maybe like the first like for real hip hop
Mm-hmm.
site. You know what I mean? One of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
And they put up and they introduce you to a lot of different types of artists. You know what I mean? And they merch is crazy too. So salute to them.
who
Uh,
actually helped kind of put me on to some folks too was my brother because he, shout out to Troy Brown. Um,
Peace to
Right.
Troy Brown.
he
You,
actually was rapping and doing his thing and battling and all of that. So,
He's
you
low
know,
key Pete Rock's son, but
he would yeah, he would put me on to different folks, you know what I'm saying? Like uh Lupe was one for sure. Um Actually, he was one of the first people that actually was like, yo, Wayne is nice. And I was like,
mm, okay. Wait, so you wasn't
Cash
rocking with
Money,
Wayne at
Lil Wayne?
first?
No, it wasn't that I wasn't rocking with Wayne. I just wasn't rocking with Wayne as an individual MC where I felt like
You just answered my question. You wasn't.
Wayne is nice. Look,
You
I put
wasn't.
it,
It's
no, no, no,
okay.
put it
It's
like this.
okay.
Let me put it like this. Because I don't want it to come across. No, I don't want it to come across a way like I wasn't into Silk the Shocker,
I
uh,
feel you. Okay.
all of them, like them niggas. Those niggas,
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
ever. You know what I mean? Like,
it ain't your
but
fault.
Wayne was kind of cool. Wayne was
God
cool.
damn it. God damn it, you motherfucker. This
but
nigga.
but to me, Wayne was cool. Like Wayne had potential. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think he was whack at all, but at the same time, I wasn't like he's nice though. Okay, I hadn't heard nothing from him, but I wasn't checking for him like that. I would only
Right.
hear him on, you know, like featured on somebody else's record or a bigger Cash Money like Posse Cut or something like that, or back that ass up. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that kind of stuff. So uh, I think the first Wayne project that I actually listened to was a dedication that he did with Drama,
Classic mixtape
and
series.
that's when I was like, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
And then the Carter 3 came,
Mm.
and I was like, okay, yeah. So that's what made me sort of pay attention to Wayne at first. But then he went on that streak where he was just killing everything that he was on. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
feature, every
He had a yeah,
mixtape. You know what I
yeah.
mean? He had a run. He had a good run.
He had a run. He
So
did.
and then at that point, if you didn't rock with Wayne, you was just hating. You know what I
I
mean?
disagree, but we'll get to that.
But you might not have necessarily thought he was like nice or the best or whatever. But if you said he was whack, I feel like he was just hating during
I
that
disagree.
point in time. Now, at a certain point in time, everybody's run ends. Some people just don't realize it uh, at that time when others do. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so yeah, big shout to Big shout out to Troy. But I be wondering now how niggas have time to actually listen to all the stuff that comes out. Cause I used to be up on all that stuff much more so than now. And
Well,
now I'm like, all right, I'll
Um,
listen to. Like, it's got to be something. I got to hear something for me to actually go and look and listen to you. So like even like so for instance, like with Griselda, for instance, yeah, they got a loud buzz. But what made me say I'm gonna check these dudes out is I was on YouTube and I seen these dudes like they was just kind of in a room in a projects or something with like 5 or 6 other niggas who was just like they just threw on the beat and it was just rhyming. And just off of that and listening to uh Benny in particular, and I want to say 38 Special was in that too. That's what made me be like, yeah,
they
okay.
put out a new project actually.
Yeah, you're right. And it's them too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I got to check that because those are the two folks that I really like outside of I like Conway too for sure, but Benny and 38 Special out of the whole Griselda camp or the affiliations was the two that stood out to me when I first started checking for them, and that's what made me say, all right, that's kind of how I look at everything. You know what I mean? Like you could have all the extras, bells and whistles, the sauce, the production, the gear, the visuals. But if you strip all that shit out and somebody just throw on the beat, how nice are you? And that's how I look at stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like whether we talking about music, whether we talking about hooping, whether we talking about food, whether we talking about, you know what I mean? When you strip out all that extra stuff that you can get and that might help your project or help whatever it is you're doing, but all that's extra. If we just strip it out and we say, here's the beat, you got skills or don't you? And when seeing them in that environment, throw on the beat, just niggas around doing their thing, and that's what made me say, okay, I rock with these dudes. I'm going to check for them and check for their music, and and what makes me feel this way in general is because you got folks like we talking about what got us into it, what made us fall in love with hip hop or really start listening and paying attention.
Yeah.
And it didn't have nothing to do with the money. It was the art, it was the skill, you
Yes.
know. And as hip hop has evolved over the years, it's a whole lot more money in it, and there's a whole lot less skill. so, um,
That's another point I want to talk about too.
so that's what it is when it comes to checking for new music or for new artists and stuff. I want to see like, when you strip out all this other stuff, and that's why I like platforms like Sway where they freestyle, or even Flex, or um,
LA Leaker,
enough radio, LA Leakers. That's why I like
95
those
bars on
platforms.
I-95.
I like those platforms because it's like, let's get to it.
Yeah.
Stay on the beat. And I know dudes be having some stuff prepared now, more than likely. But at the end of the day, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the skills. I want to hear the talent. I want to hear what you got something to say. And that's another reason why I still love Joel Ortiz to this day. Like Joel Ortiz was kind of like, what?
Shout outs to
Nigga said
Joel
what?
Ortiz.
Hold up. I'm nice. You know what I mean? Forget all this other stuff that we done did and success I've had. Like at the end of the day, I'm nice and I love to rhyme. Who won it? And that's why I fuck with Ortiz like that. So
Word up.
yeah.
All right. Here's my thing about Wayne.
Lil Wayne, not Country Wayne.
You know damn well we ain't talking about no damn country. That's comedy, man. But he is funny though.
Wait,
If
now
you
wait,
wanna,
wait.
real quick, if you wanna laugh, check out the most recent. If y'all familiar with the 85 South show,
Yeah.
check out the most recent one. It was just Carlos Miller, but it's him, Kev on stage, H.E.R, and Tony Baker. You are going to get a good laugh. You're talking 2 hours and 45 minutes of them four just joking and going back to the same joke and stuff. It's like, yo, just be glad DC Young Fly and Chico wasn't there, because if they was there too, your face would hurt. Your jaw would hurt from laughing. Like there was a point in time Tony Baker was like, I got a headache from laughing. So it's so dope. Okay. So Lil Wayne, for me, okay. And here's my thing when it comes to rap. I'm not stubborn when it comes to like not acknowledging someone's improvement, if that makes sense.
You're
So
saying you don't acknowledge someone's improvement unless it has to like really hit you in the head where you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Or are you saying that you do
Yeah,
acknowledge it
I'm
a lot
sorry.
easier?
I do acknowledge it.
Okay.
I do acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Because you have so many, I think as time went on, kind of like what you said, the money really played a factor within the game as years went on. And so now you got cats that they love it so much that they want to get paid doing it, and they still have the skill and they appreciate the art and they create art. But then you got cats that, I mean, they rock with the rap stuff, but they try and get out the hood or whatever. So they look at it as a quick buck. Let me make a little song. Oh yeah, what's popping? Oh, let me do something similar to that.
Yes.
Or kind of my own thing. Boom. I'm not trying to be the best. I'm not trying to do Cardi B, pretty much. Anyway.
Like exactly. Like she tell you, I'm not a rapper.
Yeah. She's a good performer. But as far as I'm not checking for a Cardi B project. Like I'll listen to it just to see what it is. But it's like, hey, that person that wrote for you did a good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so shout outs to the writer, So with Wayne, I can honestly say that his first, because I actually kind of went back and listened to his stuff. Because somebody had checked me when I was tried to check me when I said that I thought at one point in time he's overrated. I think he's good. His first 3 albums to me were whack AF. Like, what is this shit?
Yeah, but he did come on the scene when he was what, like 14 to 15?
Yeah.
When The Block is Hot came out, he was about 17.
Okay.
Like 16, 17.
Okay.
But I hear you. But at the same time, Rakim was 17 when he made Paid in Full.
Don't look like it, but okay.
He don't look like it, but
I'll tell you, man. It's funny how like.
But hey, but you can say the same thing about what's my man, the R&B dude, Khalid. That nigga was fresh out of high school and had all this. His facial hair was more than I was like, no, nigga, you about 25. Let me see the birth certificate. You about 25.
That's what I said about.
You got a couple.
Came like, yo, that dude 30. He's like, it's like we're
So like, and then I think at one point in time, Wayne tried to come out with 500 Degrees. And I was like, what are you doing? Stop it. It wasn't until Carter won when I noticed he got better. And I remember he freestyled on I'm gonna take it back again, on BET. It was a show called Mad Sports.
Yeah.
And he hosted it or whatever. And at the end of it, he freestyled, and I'm like, oh, he can rap. All right. And And I didn't appreciate Carter 2 for what it was because I felt like he was trying too much to sound like Jay.
Yes, that's what everybody says, and I've never listened to the Carter 2, but I believe that he was patterning his flow and everything after Hove at the time,
And
so, and that
yeah,
makes sense.
and that was around the time where there was so many Jay-Z clones coming out, especially when he retired the first time. It was like there was so many of them came out.
Mm-hmm.
And um then Carter 3 comes out. It had singles, but it wasn't a classic to me. It was just cool to me. Carter 4 came out and it didn't hit to me. He was trying too hard for me. He was trying too hard to come with a punchline. He kept saying it every track. He kept using the life as a bitch metaphor, and it just wouldn't hit. And like I've said on this joint before, he got outshined by like 4 or 5 other rappers on the same beat. Tech Nine and Andre 3000 outshined him on the interlude.
On what beat?
Then when
The
the actual track
6 4 7
came out
foot?
that
What are you
had
talking about?
Nas.
Which beat you talk about?
Right.
That joint. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
'Cause
and
I'm sure I'll recognize it when I hear it.
and um, and it was like on the actual track where it's Wayne, Shine, Nas, and Bun B, and maybe another rapper. Nas and Bun B killed it. Shine was just kind of there, and Wayne was just kind of there to me. And it just got to a point of um, the actual saying goes quality over quantity.
Yeah.
He did the opposite, and at the same time, he was on Jay Z's jock so much, and it was annoying. He became annoying. Wayne became annoying to me. I was like, all right. And I didn't really later on I listened to the dedication series and I was like, all right, I'll give you that. I was like, this is a classic mixtape series. He was spitting, and you got cats like Currency on there, you got Drake on there, Nicki Minaj on a couple, you know what I mean, different people. And then he came up with the I'm Not a Human Being joints, and I like those.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Carter 5 and I liked The Funeral. Um, and like you said, he was there was a point in time where he was outshining people on tracks. There was a
Yeah.
track on Cassidy's second album called 6 Minutes. It was Wayne, Cassidy, and Fab, and Wayne outshined both of them. Something ridiculous. And I remember Joel Santana had a project, and it was Joel's, Jeezy, and Wayne mopped the floor. You get to
No,
the
that didn't surprise me. That does not surprise me.
and then the Outer Wild soundtrack comes out. This song
Mm-hmm.
called Hollywood Divorce.
Yes.
Wayne smoked it.
Yes, he did.
So I
Mm-hmm.
can acknowledge when people step up, but I can also acknowledge when they, all right, what are you doing? So it's um I do think he like going back and listening to his stuff, I think he's good, but I'm not all, he's the greatest to me. You know what I mean? He's just good to me. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
I like his stuff. Um and as far as what you said about Griselda, I've been a fan of Griselda since I think 2015, 2016, West Side Gun did a song with Planet Asia called Triple Beams on Apollo Brown's Grandeur album.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I knew about him. And then Fly God comes out a year later and boom. And I feel you on what you were saying earlier about um, strip all the extra stuff down. Can you rap. And it's like that with a lot of artists that I wonder because certain people that I hear rap, I'm like, could you survive a cipher? You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
with certain people, can you actually hold your own in a cipher with cats that can really spit?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because certain cats they can't.
And it's
Let's go back to
obvious.
what you said about Sway.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a few years ago, right? In on Sway in the Morning, you had Evidence, Alchemist, aka the Step Brothers, and Kid Ink. Now, if you ever heard Kid Ink rap,
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Kid Ink ain't no rapidy rap dude.
No.
So he's rapping on a track, you know how Sway do. You, oh, you rap? We
Mm-hmm.
throwing on a beat. Evidence to this thing, even Alchemist to this thing. Kid Ink, ugh, ugh. Maybe if the Black Eyed Peas was there, he might be all right, but not with those guys. No,
Mm.
no, you're not surviving that. So you just have certain people where it's like, and I can acknowledge like not everybody is like that type of rapper. You got the guys that, and you got to understand what's the difference between an MC, a rapper, a lyricist, things of that nature. And there's a difference between a rapper and an artist. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you kind of
Yeah.
gotta know. So and it's good to have that type of variety and to know what's what. Cause though you might listen to a lot of lyrical miracle guys, you might like um what like well Freddie Gibbs is kind of both, but you get what I'm saying. Freddie Gibbs, he mostly on that crack shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like once you hear him rap, you're like, you know what? He can hang with the rabbity rap guys I listen to. He can hang
Mm-hmm.
with the Elzais and the guys like that. And even another example, Benny.
Black
Benny
Thought.
Benny did a track with Black Thought.
Mm-hmm. And Gibbs
And
too.
not too many can hang with Black Thought.
Mm-hmm.
Even another Buffalo artist,
But
Shay
you know
Noir,
the thing
had a
about
track.
with Benny and Black Thought's track though, Benny did what Benny does. Benny didn't try to let me get into my Black Thought bag with the
He just did
lyricism.
his thing.
He just did what he does and he did his thing, right? And it was cool. Um, Gibbs, I don't know if it was like last year or earlier this year when I had finally actually got around to listening to that Bandana project
Mm-hmm.
with the education track with Mos, um, Thought, and Gibbs on it. And that joint was just on repeat for me for a minute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
um, there were points in Freddie Gibbs verse where I kind of was like I didn't feel like it fit. I didn't feel like it fit on the track the way he delivered it. Like it didn't fit kind of like seamlessly or smoothly on the track. But that was like my only beef. It wasn't like the bars. It wasn't what he was saying. It was more like just I don't know, just like the flow and the feel at like maybe 1 or 2 points. But he more than held his own. You know what I'm saying? So I got nothing bad to say about him either in that track. But yeah, that's and actually when you mentioned that, it's interesting. BET Hip Hop Awards, the ciphers is what everybody wants to see. You know what I mean? We want to see cats do their thing in a room full of other niggas that do their thing. Same beat. Just get on one of his, just spit. You know, and I don't know if they gotten away from the ciphers a little more, where it's like that. It seems like they try to do a little more to it than kind of just stripping it out, having cats in the room and doing their thing.
Yeah, there were like one or two last year that I liked, and they had like themes. I want to say, but there are some good ones, and there were some ones that were just okay. And then I wouldn't say there's like a whole just whack one, but I'll say that certain people didn't show up. You know what I mean, lyrically. You know, because something like that, you gotta bring your bars. I mean, Lecrae even outshined some people in the cipher. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and certain people they just thrive off that type of shit. Like if you get somebody like some of these better rapper guys, you get DNA in one of them BT hip hop ciphers, and he's off the top with it, done. Clips the same way. Charlie Clips the same way. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do. They pin in bars. You know? So and then you just have some underwhelming stuff like I remember I think I've used this as an example before. Um when when Kevin Hart had House Husbands of Hollywood show, whatever.
Yeah.
They did a cipher. So it was Kev, Nick Cannon, Boris Cujo, Nelly. It might have been one other guy. Maybe JB Smoke? No, I don't think so. But I think those were like the main guys. Kev was cool with what he did. Somebody wrote bars for Boris Cujo. He did his thing. Uh, Nick rapped a bit, and Nick cut it out, and then he just got to like roasting people while rhyming because that's the wilding out shit. And then Nelly rapped. You're the only rapper in the show, and that I just mentioned in this cipher. And you let a comedian, a model slash actor, and another comedian slash actor slash super mediocre rapper outshine you. I don't care that you rap about it's getting hot in here and a little bit of and all that. Supposed to shine. This is your and you let these niggas outshine you, and they don't rap like that. I think that was sad, very sad. You know what I mean? And even with Sway, like you said, I've seen where cats kind of turn down, like, no, I ain't trying to rap, I ain't trying. You know what I mean? And maybe later on they might spit something. There's um certain people they already paid their due, so it is kind of a thing of damn, you still asking this man to rap to spit a verse? Damn. Is leave it to the younger cats, leave it to the vets. Because certain vets don't mind. Like, remember Planet Asia was up there, man, and he just went in. He did Renton's and off the top. And I've seen it where he tried to put young cats on, and one young cat, they kept trying to coach him, motivate him, and he had to cut the beat off on him and was like, you got some work to do. and and it's like I feel kind of bad for the kid, but at the same time I'm like, you're a kid, man. You're gonna get better. Like, you're gonna learn from that. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah. Uh next question I want to ask you guys. This is gonna probably take some thought, but we always talk, people always bring this up. Your top 10. If you got a top 10 all time or a top 10 currently, love to hear it.
You know what else? Actually, you know what? I've been seeing this post where people is putting Kendrick,
The Mount
Cole,
Rushmore thing.
and Drake.
The Mount Rushmore
Yes,
thing.
yes.
You saw the
And they're like,
LeBron,
who's the fourth? Who's the fourth? And I'm
LeBron's
like,
Rushmore, and this nigga had the nerve to say, all right, I'm done. I'm done. I'll be back.
Who said Future?
LeBron James. LeBron James said
Oh
Future should be
man.
on that, the fourth person on that Mount Rushmore.
Childish
And your
Gambino.
man Dame Dollar was like, Kanye, respectfully.
I know, right?
And this is for the 2010s. Let me make that clear. It was for the 2010s.
Right.
So he was like, you know, K. Dot, Cole,
Drake,
and your man said Future.
That's your man. You on your squad. Hooping right now.
He is right now. I'm about to check the score in a little bit. But he said that, and I was like,
he said Future. Okay.
Hip hop. What do you say? What do you call him? A hip hop connoisseur?
Yes, something like that. Something like that.
We got you.
I feel like that's disrespect.
Future in in your Mount Rushmore.
First of all, too, I also feel like, hey, no, you cannot put Future on your Mount Rushmore for the 2010s at that.
If it was a Mount Rushmore of whack niggas, yes.
Wow. Okay. So like you were saying, to me personally, I would go with Cole, Kendrick. I mean, yeah, Drake, because you know he had hits and it's catchy and all that, but he's not my, I wouldn't put him for those 2010 MCs. I would put Cole, Kendrick, Wale, rest in peace, Mac. No, that's it, right? And I want to say a strong. Oh,
so that's 4, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
this is your Mount. This is for your Mount Rushmore.
The 2010s, but yeah, but also I want to add one more, and that's Childish Gambino. I felt like he,
okay,
at that time.
No, I feel that.
And then also,
now, are you talking from lyrical ability, or are you just saying who had like the best run during that decade?
A little bit of both, and also too. I mean, I would say if you want to like talk about the cultural impact, yeah, Drake, put him in there, and it hits.
Because I was like, yeah, if you're doing that, you can't leave Drake out.
Yeah, can't leave Drake out. Yeah,
But if you're talking about like who came on the scene and you feel like as talent wise and how they do their thing versus the field, you put them on the Rushmore. Okay.
And also Blue too, yo. I mean, that's like underrated. Like that's like the underrated. Like to me, like
even though he originally came out like in 07, but I feel you.
Yeah, but he was, I'm thinking about that double XL cover because I was happy that he was on it, the freshman list.
That was 09, yeah.
Yeah. But 2010 definitely, I would say, yeah, between Cole, Wale, Drake. Kendrick. I mean, Cole, Kendrick, Wale, Mac, and Childish, me. That's like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just looking at it as who over that decade has a body of work. I'm just looking at their body of work over the decade. And I can't argue with Cole, Kendrick, or Drake. But the fourth, I don't know, but honestly, I think the fourth, I would actually have to go with. I probably would have to go with Kanye because just the impact in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Like he's had projects, but then he's had his own camp where he's doing production and everybody's kind of working together and doing things. I know he's worked with all kinds of different artists. He's influenced all kinds of different artists in terms of just what they do in the studio and how they put it together. And so, yeah, the latter part of the decade has not been the best for him. But if I'm taking the whole 2010s into account, I gotta go with yeah.
Yeah, man. I would keep the three: Cole, Kendrick, Drake. My fourth is different.
Hmm.
2010s, because yay, that's a good one. Because it's a couple people, man, that can. One could make a case for Nicki Minaj for women, but I'm
Hmm.
gonna go left and say Rock Marciano.
Mm.
Rock Marciano, because he's still having a run. I feel, as far as if you're talking like the underground, the indie stuff, he came with a sound that I think has it's been around, but it hasn't really. I don't think you would hear you would kind of hear whole bodies of work on it, but it's been a while since you've heard like a whole body of work with the type of sound that he has, that kind of lo-fi, got the samples, the dusty, grimy type samples. Some tracks might have drums in it, some don't. And then that flow, like he got a really dope, real smooth voice, and his flow reminds you of like Kim or maybe G Rap almost. So it's a very familiar sound. Like you haven't heard too many play with that. Like the last couple people that you've heard with that sound was probably like your Mob Deeps and your Ray and Ghost. And he never really took off in the late 90s, early 2000s like that. So when he came back around, it was like, oh yeah, I remember that cat. And mind you, he's worked with cats like um um Busta, Pete Rock. He's worked with Q-Tip as well, and I think Rock kind of paved the way for Griselda, and Griselda is popping now. Griselda been popping since 2016. So, and when you hear, well, when I first heard Griselda sound, I immediately thought of Rock Marciano. So, and I think he's made an impact in that light. And then he helped with with the boy Stove God, with Reasonable Drought, which that album was one of the best albums of last year, in my opinion. And I know on the JBP, Parks, that was Parks' pick for like Rookie of the Year, and I think Joe Budden. So he made that album made an impact, and Rock Marciano had a hand in that. So I think on the indie side of things, I would put Rock Marciano there.
Hmm.
But one could legit make a case for Wale, because I feel Wale. I do think Wale doesn't get the credit that he deserves, and he's been doing this since the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I he should be. I feel like he should be in that conversation. And I mean, Kendrick didn't call him out on that one joint for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He called him out because he's seen what he can do. You feel me? Um, so yeah, but I'm gonna be the different one. and say Rock Marciano. So yeah, that's the thing with the Mount Rushmore. And that's for rappers. What about producers? Who will be on your Mount Rushmore for producers? And this is not for a certain period of time. This can be period, all time, whatever.
Oh,
Mm.
Do you want me to give you a time frame? You want a time frame?
I was just going to go with the 2010s, and then I would probably think about the
All
just
time.
all time.
Okay,
But
fine. Let's do that. 2010s. We'll do 2010s first, and then we'll do all time.
I'm gonna say I think honestly, I feel like Premiere um still in 2010s too. I'm just talking 2010s. I think Primo. Somebody go first. I can't.
Neither. I can't either. I'm trying to think like what else, like all the big songs that came out in 2010. Like who produced this?
Well, if we're talking 2010, I would put Kanye in there.
Well, this is the thing. I'm thinking about Kanye, but I was also thinking like I know Ye wasn't like
I'll put
doing strictly production. Like I know like for the Good Music brand, I think he was doing all the production for like within the last couple of years. But prior to that, these last couple of years where they had several people drop projects, I don't know if he was producing as much. You know, I feel like he was including and checking other folks and bringing other folks in house to work on things. So I was just trying to think about it because he definitely came to mind, no doubt. But then I was trying to think like, all right, well, which joints, was it like definitely, Ye produced this?
Okay, I got it.
Well, I kind of already started.
Go ahead. I mean,
so go ahead. So finish what you was doing, Sean, and then your list.
So for my 2010 Mount Rushmore for producers, I'm gonna go Ye. Mine is kind of based off of both personal and who was popping at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go Ye, Mustard, Mike Will, because those brothers had a run in 2010.
Yeah,
I actually want those two to do a versus. And my fourth would be Alchemist.
Okay.
My honorable mention would be Derringer. Couple honorable mentions: Derringer, Rock Marciano. And I think certain cats are just like mainstays, and you know what they do. So like how you mentioned Premier, which I don't. He's in my all time. But
right, I would say
you got people that's like, but you got people like the Neptunes that been there, still doing stuff. You know what I mean?
You know what?
And
then you still got like Just Blaze is out there.
Yes.
You got Dre still out there.
Yes. Ninth Wonder is still up. The Soul, no doubt. Know what? The Soul Council is kind of up there for me. The Soul Council, but it's a lot of those guys in the Soul Council. That's Ninth Wonder's own hitman. If we keep it in a buck, you know what I'm saying? So
Justice League is out there.
Oh yeah, 808 Mafia. It's some guys, man. It's some guys. Every now and then, Cool and Dre. Not as much as early 2000s, but Heat Makers made a bit of a comeback the past couple years.
Yeah. All right.
You feel me?
Mm.
So, and every now and then Knots comes out.
Yeah,
Knots do a
that
little something. So
Mm.
it's like once you think of that era, that time frame, it's a lot, you know. And you could make a case for Metro Boomin.
very
You know
true.
what I'm saying? Metro
Very
Boomin,
true.
Beethoven. You know what I mean? You can make a case for those guys.
Yep.
But I'm sticking with the four that I mentioned.
I would say definitely yay. These some definitely these couple ones they are so I think honorable mention or highly underrated. Soundwave on Top Dog Entertainment. Soundwave, he definitely produced most of like from Kendrick to most all of from TDE stuff. Soundwave, he was definitely especially on stuff he did for Kendrick on To Pimp Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City and things of that nature. They definitely had a good run. So did Boy Wonder,
Mm-hmm.
definitely and also during that early time too. Yeah, you said missing Cool and Dre, Jake One.
One more, let me cut you off. One more. Static Selector.
Yeah, Status Selector. Um, uh, yeah, definitely. Kendrick Nada. I feel he.
Yeah,
I mean, he's getting
he's like
known now. He's getting known now,
he's
but to
like
me,
hip
I was
hop,
like,
R&B,
yeah.
EDM, but he's dope, man. Shout outs to Kate Trinidad.
And then Pharrell had a nice little time. I mean, he always had, but
And he's still out here, you know what
yeah.
I mean?
You know what? When did I gotta check when the Despicable Me, because I think he did the score for.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did
he
he
did
did the
School for
score for
one
the
and
first
two. And
one.
that's yeah. Happy came out. Happy was on part two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I you know what? I might have to throw Pharrell in there for the 2010s.
And Flying
Yeah,
Lotus. That was
Mm. There you go.
Flying
There you
Lotus,
go.
and also too Tyler too. Uh, and
Yes. Yes.
and also
Yes.
Chuck Strangers.
Yes.
mhm.
It's a couple of those guys, man, in that pro era. Him, Kirk,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Definitely.
I was trying to find somebody else.
Yeah, they to me they definitely to me. I mean, I was going to think of somebody. Of course, usually like you say, Heat Makers and Kanye and all that. They always going to get shine for so yeah.
Got that shit that'll keep you fine.
Oh, No ID. My goodness. No ID. At the time on 2010, that's when he did Nas Life is Good album. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Okay.
He executive produced Logic's album,
Yeah, yeah,
first album.
yeah.
Like he made sure he worked with him on that. Like he was with him that whole way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you don't know of No ID, that's Chi-Town, man. That's one of Common's earliest like producer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you go back and listen
So
to
the
One Day at a
Common's early
Home,
producers,
super slept on hip hop album. No ID's hands all on the production of
when the Common's early producers, a mentor
Mm-hmm.
to Kanye. coming in the game on the production side too, you know. So I damn, that's a lot. I can't call it for the 2010s on the production side because y'all threw probably about 10 or 15 names out there, and I'm like, damn, true, right? Yeah. But all time, if I'm gonna go all time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Tommy was getting shot. Like, oh damn, that's right. Yeah, that one too. Oh, ow.
Yeah.
You're right.
He hit him with that one.
I know. He was like Jay-Z on the 99 Problems.
It's like a verses right here. Like y'all was doing y'all was like naming all the different producers, and I'm like, he brought that one up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man. You know, it was this one time, man. You know, we was out chilling, and you know, I just stumbled across my man's like, "Yo, what's up?" And he was like, "Yo, I gotta play this for you." I was like, "Yo, who is that?" And it was this right here. And they played a joint. Shout out to Ciroc. Shout out to, and this is the Doritos pick. You know, all the fans picked this one.
and then when you
weird,
said Knots,
yeah.
When you said Knots, that took me back to when we was at
DJ Trump, yo.
The producer, the
T.R.'s guy, right?
Panel.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, DJ Trump. Yeah.
Can't tell me nothing.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
You know, when you said Knots, that took me back to the A3C when we was on the producer
A3C
panel.
joint, yeah.
And everybody has some joints, you know, with them to play. You know what I'm saying?
Brought it, man.
With all of them. But that joint that he played that ultimately became the Pusha track featuring Kendrick, Nostalgia. When he dropped that, that was one of them joints where you could kind of like, if somebody was just animating the room, that's the joint where everybody in the room was just had the ugly face with the head bobbing, everybody at the same pace, same cadence. Like, yeah, that was the one.
That was a dope time right there.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, I wonder if somebody recorded that. Like, I would love to find that on YouTube and relive that.
And then see us standing up when Can't Tell Me Nothing came on.
Yeah.
We were the first ones got out. Like,
but it was crazy too, right? Because in the back they were selling Heinekens. All you had to do was grab you a quick brew and just enjoy and just vibe.
And get right back with it. Yep. And that's
like, that's what it was about.
But see, this is what I'm talking about when we talk about the feel, and when you really kind of getting into how nice somebody is, whether you're talking about the production or lyrically. When it gives you that feeling that we had down there when you hear it, it's like that's what I'd be after. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like, all right, let me give this a listen, and I'm forcing myself to listen to the whole project because I feel like I got to give it a chance. I want that where you just throw it on and you like, oh, this is different. Let me just cool out and relax and let this rock because I can vibe to this. And that's the feel. That's the feel that I'm after when I'm listening to a new project or a new artist or whatever, and I'm trying to take it in. Like, do I get hype off of what you're saying? Or can I relate? Can I be like, facts, you know, whatever? You know, does it just give me that feel, that vibe? And a lot of stuff is hard right now for me to listen to. You know what I mean? Like even and maybe part of that, I think part of that is just, you know, getting older and, you know, you kind of liking what you like and what have you. And then some of it is like, even though some of it is like, yo, I can't listen to the niggas rhyming in the way that they be rhyming and the beat being what it is. Like it's not even an easy listen where you can just kind of leave it on. It's kind of like, what is this noise? Let me turn something else. You know, like it's just noise. It's like like, yo, I don't want to hear that.
Yo, you sound old right there. It's just noise. What is this noise? Like,
it's just noise, man. It's just noise to me. Like it's not for me.
So let me ask you this. So before we get into our Mount Rushmore producers of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
One key factor for me when it comes to listening is the stank face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You hear a beat so hard, you just
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? When did you? What was the song or beat, whatever, that first gave you that stank face? They gave you your first stank face. What was the first? Because I remember mine's.
Damn, that's tough for me.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm trying like
I know one of the joints, one joint for me though, back in the day that really I was just fucking with it heavy. You know what I mean? And this is before I actually knew that the group was called Tribe Called Quest. This is before I knew that. I just knew this joint when it came on. I rock with the beat. I rock with the flow. I rock with how they went back and forth. It was just smooth, and it was that joint where it'd be like, back on the days on the boulevard.
Check the rhyme. Yeah,
that check the rhyme.
Yeah,
like,
That
was probably like one of the first joints for me. Where
no, he said back in the days on the boulevard. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was one of them joints. And then, LL's Mama Said Knock You Out.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Just the lead up to before he even start rhyming. You know what I mean? I'm trying to remember if he had like somebody talking on that before he actually came on. I feel like I want to say Mike Tyson might have had a little something, but I might be confusing it with something else.
No, that wasn't.
Yeah,
Mike
you
Tyson.
got it confused with cannabis.
Yeah, for real.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah.
And then when you see the video for Mama Said Knock You Out, where it was just like
with the hoodie on, black and white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't call her, come back. I'll be here for you. Yeah.
Those two joints for me back in the day.
Shout out to A Living Color.
Mama's gonna kick me out. Come on,
JJ. No, but Ma.
So for me, it was those two.
I think that was the funniest Shawn Wayne skit that he did. Yeah.
What about for y'all?
Breon.
Oh man, I want to say, well, I know at the time we didn't call it stink face, but it definitely, I was like, what is this? And then like, it was between Slick Rick Children's Story or It Takes Two. It was between them two that I had to really like what? I didn't get a stink face. I know I was like really like I didn't. Yeah, we didn't call it at the time, but I was like, what is this? This is awesome.
Wow.
Hit it.
Yeah. That beat never gets old.
Yeah, does it?
Even when Snoop took it. And Main Man flipped it.
Oh, and another one I would definitely say is So What You Saying? PNB.
Yes, sir.
And then when it hit the fucking
yeah.
Lemonade was a popular drink, and it still is.
I'll give more props to stunts than Bruce Willis. I'm glad you brought that up because my joint is the Primo track.
Mm.
Group Home.
Mm.
When I remember when I first saw that video, I was like I never moved my hip, like my neck, it just moved on its own. I was like, what is that? I ain't never heard these guys. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, woo, it's crazy. That joint, that joint, that was that. I think that was the very first joint that gave me the stink face at 12 years old. Just, you know what I mean? So, without further ado, gentlemen, Mount Rushmore of all the times
Can't.
for producers.
I can't.
Who's going?
I'm of all time, I would definitely say if we go back.
Let me help you out. I got one for you.
I know. I mean, don't say I'll go ahead. Who you gonna say? Oh, of course. No, I was gonna like go back to like the early years. I was gonna say like Marley Marl, Lost Professor, you know what I'm saying, the Dumb Guys, the Bomb Squad, Dre, of course.
Oh yeah.
You know, Easy Mo B, Primo. I gotta put. It's funny. I thought, huh? You say
right there, isn't it? I think that's
oh no,
right
I can't do a Mount Rushmore. I got like for real. It's gotta be like.
Oh, so what you doing? A 10? What you doing?
I can't even do 10 for y'all. It's like it's so many. Like I can't for real. It's like so many. It's same thing when you ask me about rappers and movies and crap. I can't give you like a whole. You know, I can't. I'm sorry. It's just like it's too many.
Well, let me. I'm a throw. My for the all time would be Dre for sure. Primo for sure. Dilla for sure. And I don't know, man. I think if today, I would say either I would say probably either Kanye or Just Blaze as the fourth.
That's a good one. That's a very good.
And I say these. I gave these names for a variety of reasons because they all got hits, right? I think Dre has been doing it for so long that he's just crossed over from being a DJ and kind of like just producing actually starting out DJing basically, and kind of starting the production doing with NWA and doing shit with the world class wrecking crew back in the day, and then start his own label, doing joints with Snoop, doing joints with himself, for himself, doing joints for all kinds of different artists. So I gotta go Dre. Primo, same thing, and just being in the spot, A3C, taking it back, being in the spot and listening to him talk about the art. You know what I mean? So it's he had hits, he was doing his thing, but it's just like the art and the love and how he goes to find different records and different joints to sample and kind of flip it. And I'm gonna say Dilla because I didn't actually I had to sit and listen to Donuts and the pod with y'all where y'all was talking about he was really kind of telling his story or telling kind of like his life or whatever as it was ending through that project. And then listening to other things that he had did, listening to the original joints that he got the sample from, and then how he
Mhm.
completely flipped it to something completely different.
Mhm.
So it was kind of like the skill and the precision that you have to be able to do that, and the creativity to flip it into something just completely different. Um, and then I say Ye, and it's a toss up between Ye and Just Blaze, and I'm gonna throw the Neptunes in there too.
Mhm.
For
Just
the
a minute. I can't do four. I can't do four, man. For real. I got like for real. If you said like, yo, what's your top 30 or
No,
50?
it is a lot. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say that. Yeah.
There's different time periods, and everybody, and like we
Yeah.
got underground folks too, like
Mhm.
Sean J. Sean J was from period. He was from I'm sorry, Sean J. Yeah,
I
Sean
was
J.
like the DJ, you know?
No, Sean J. His name was Sean J. He was he did all the early ruckus stuff on the Versus Lounge.
Gotcha.
He did. He did. He did.
And then, you know, and here's this crazy because I want to say maybe for me at least, the production game wasn't even something that people really talked about or thought about until I'm gonna say early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like you really, really, really had to be a deep, deep hip hop head to be looking at the production side of things, and having that appreciation for it before then, because then I feel like around like the early 2000s, that's when people started seeing like, oh, you can get paid for making beats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, damn, producers is getting shout out on
You
the
know what I'm
tracks.
saying?
You know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You know, so it's to me, it's like, yeah, to me, it's like the cats who kind of came prior to that era, who was still kind of getting their shine as producers at a time where producers might have been known in certain circles, but on a massive scale, a massive, you know, like mass appeal sort of thing. You know, they just weren't like, they weren't the ones on stage. They weren't the ones going on tour during the interviews, unless they actually happen to be a DJ with the group too. You know what I mean? So for you to still be able to get that kind of love and that kind of shine without being like the front man of a group, you know, definitely shows like the kind of talent that you have, where people actually would take the time to look at who produced the track. Damn, let me go check out the rest of the catalog that he's actually worked on. You know, so so that's why I say that's another reason why I say Premier too. You know what I mean? Because he's been around for so long.
Pete Rock.
And he's still rocking.
Yeah.
P Rock still rocking.
Yeah.
RZA still rocking.
Yeah. Havoc still rocking. You know what I'm saying? And also too, I always, you know, on Tribe Called Quest, I thought Ali Shaheed Muhammad helped out with the production. It was all Q-Tip. But yeah,
Q-Tip.
And Dilla. But I'm talking about like the early stuff, like the low end. Midnight Marauders. You know,
that's another thing too. I'll say about Dilla is the reverence that other cats in the game who is nice have for Dilla. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's like, yo, everybody thinks you nice, but you think this nigga's nice. You know what I mean? Like, that's another reason I had to, you know, I had to include Dilla in that, of course, even though his you know, clearly he hasn't been producing new stuff, but you know, because his life ended due to cancer. But
not cancer.
It wasn't cancer.
No, it was lupus.
Lucas, yeah.
My fault.
Yeah, Lucas, yeah.
But yeah, just the reverence that cats have for him. Like it's kind of like younger cats look at Kobe as like the great, but Kobe looks at MJ as like that dude, you know. And he was really trying to chase and live up to what Jordan did. You know, that's kind of how I look at Dilla. Like
that was my thing with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's
was trying to sound like Hove for so much,
and Hove was MJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at that kind of like situation.
Actually, I was having a conversation. This is off the hip hop a little bit, but since we brought up the Kobe and MJ comparison,
I'm trying to get to my phone.
My fault. This will be quick. I was like, yo, you know what? It's tragic that Kobe's life ended the way that it did. But I was saying Kobe might have been considered the GOAT had he been a little more, not a little more, but a little less singularly focused on basketball and winning. You know what I mean? Like had he been still have that focus, but then been a little bit more personable with the media, you know, like that Kobe you saw towards the very end of his career and then after he retired. Had you seen a little more of that throughout the course of his NBA career and him and Shaq actually stayed together, he would definitely have 6 at least, you know, and he would have the love from people who were not just people who could appreciate his greatness. It would just even the casual NBA fans would have embraced Kobe. Now the whole Eagle Colorado thing, yeah, that would have still been a strike against him in a lot of people's eyes, and understandably so. But let's say that never happened either. Yeah, I think a whole lot more people would have probably been looking at Kobe as the GOAT. And a lot more people would be like, all right, yeah, I can see that. But you got so many camps now. It's like you got MJ, you got Kobe, you got cats that think LeBron is the GOAT, and then you got cats who's like, yo, Bill Russell is still everything. Bill Russell, Kareem is still everything. So, yeah. But off of that, back to the producer discussion. Your all-time Mount Rushmore producers. Sean, it's all you.
Yeah.
Say it like it's a battle.
I know, right? It's
all you.
I said, yo.
I said,
Brian hit my phone like, yo, we gotta.
Niggas want to have a talk about the Mount Rushmore. I said the Mount what? He said.
I said, what? Say no more.
I'm bringing the 80. Wait, what? All right.
So it's mostly what you mentioned, Tommy. Primo, that's my favorite of all time. H.E.R. Dilla. Man, that fourth one could be anybody because I love what Madlib does. I love what Ninth Wonder does. Flying Lotus is dope. You know what the Neptunes have done over the years is crazy. It's so many. No one talks about Battle Cat. Battle Cat, even though he did a lot of Snoop stuff, Battle Cat was ill. Daz was ill as a producer. You know, you mentioned Havoc earlier. It's so many. It's so many cats, man. So with the fourth, and I had the fourth person in my mind, but the more we got to talking, more got to thinking, I started double guess like, damn, yeah, damn. And two, it's like it's one thing to kind of think about these things and you kind of have them in mind, but then once you kind of verbally kind of speak on them, your mind kind of
More
freezes
stuff
a
comes
little
to
bit.
you,
You
yeah.
kind of get a bit of a brain fart, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you can even say Timberland or Swiss. We're going to talk about them in a little bit.
Facts.
I am going to say I'm gonna say Just Blaze.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Just Blaze. But Kanye is definitely, you know, in that conversation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think with those guys that I put in my Rushmore, like very soulful yet dope production.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of and these guys are kind of versatile in the sense where it's like I've heard full body gangstar tracks where not everything was just like legit boom bap. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
some stuff was like kind of chill so you could pay attention to what Guru was saying. And then
Mm-hmm.
you just got the joints where it's like, oh, he's a feature. Oh man, he gonna bring it. You know, you saw what he did with kicking the door. You know, you saw what he did on the Illmatic joint. You saw what he does with MOP. You know, the list what he's done with Prime with Voice, the joints he's done with Slaughterhouse. You know, but then he can do those headbangers, but then do a theme song for a podcast. That sounds alright. You know what I mean? So, and then Pete Rock's the same way. His stuff is soulful, but yet it got that knock to it. Um, and and I got quite a few. Just Blaze gave me a few. His beats gave me a few stank faces. Then I had quite a few stank faces on some Just Blaze. When I first heard what was the joint? Uh, Beans, Blade, Cameron. Calm down, ma. Easy, easy. That joint. That
Mm-hmm.
joint had me going crazy. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. That was tough to do, but I'm confident in my choices. You know what I mean? Um,
For me, I still love that the Breathe joint that just did for Fab, where it's like,
bro, I lost my mind when I heard Breathe. I lost my mind when I heard that. That's one of my favorites.
I feel like I heard Fab in an interview say like, Hove probably got Just Blaze like tied up in the basement, like beating his ass because he should have never let that beat get out to somebody else. I was like, yeah, man.
That reminds me of De La Soul Day, A3C 2015.
Mm-hmm.
When Rosenberg was interviewing
Oh, the
De
interview,
La
yeah.
talking
Mm-hmm.
about Dilla. And it was like Tip
Yes.
played something for them. And it was like, yeah, okay, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. But then they got on the phone like, yo, we gotta get this thing.
Yeah.
Remember that? De La Soul Day? When Rosenberg interviewed De La, was talking about how they found out about Dilla.
Mm-hmm.
And Q-Tip played them a Dilla joint. And it was like, yeah, it's cool, it's all right. Then they got on the phone with them, like,
yeah.
So
I feel like he said he played a couple Dilla joints.
yeah,
And
I
it
think that's
was
what it was. Yeah, he was like, yo,
And all of them was just fire.
fire. Right. So like we said, we're filming this, recording this the day before Memorial Day weekend. Tonight is a versus. It's a rematch. People thought it was Teddy and Babyface, but it's not. The rematch is against the Founders, Mr. Zone 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 versus Mr. Guy with the baby sample, Timberland. Just Beats versus Timberland. You know you missed that baby on the track. Giggling. Uh, that's tonight. Can't wait for it. You know what I'm saying? Um, Want to know, man? I didn't. I meant to watch the first one that they did to get ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
But wanted to know, man, what y'all how I think this one gonna go. I think this one should be a classic.
I mean, yeah,
I
definitely.
look
I
at
mean,
this as
yeah, I mean, them two alone. I mean, the first one did fine. I mean, the real world, it definitely like was trending on Twitter and all that. So I was surprised. Like, I mean, I read the comments. I was surprised that people didn't knew that Swish did the Angie Stone. I wish I didn't
Who
miss
did
you.
that?
Swiss. The
Swiss did. I wish I didn't miss you anymore.
yeah, the Backstabbers sample.
With the Backstabbers?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people didn't know that. I knew that. I had the album, and I always looked to see.
I had the album too, but I didn't know that.
But I had I looked through the notes and like who produced it and said Swiss Beats.
You young motherfuckers won't know about them liner notes, boy. That's how we learn about this shit.
That's how I learned about what the samples was and all that. And I was
exactly.
like, yeah,
And someone, and if you was lucky that they have the lyrics in them, oh, you was rapping right
For
along.
real. Like they had I knew like I said before, like Tracy Spencer and Keisha Cole was doing the background vocals. Tracy Spencer did the background vocals for Kanye's and Jay's song "Never Let Me Down." That was her.
That's crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was her.
Oh.
And then Keisha Cole was on "We Don't Care." Yeah, he had like a bunch of people like doing like background vocals. It was like people you heard in a long time, or people like you now heard of now. Like, oh yeah, damn. You know, but yeah, but definitely, but
like
it's gonna
Michael
be
Jackson on Girls, Girls, Girls.
Actually, it was a remix that Hove wanted to. I think he wanted him to, that remix that I didn't love girls. Yeah. He wanted Mike to sing that part.
Mm.
He wanted Mike to sing that sample.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been, and he probably would have done it too.
Mm-hmm. But it's gonna be a dope one. I see.
Yeah.
I mean, and also too, they probably, if I was them, I mean, I didn't see the first one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like threw in some like deep gems, like people didn't know about, like some underground stuff or something like that, and then like try to.
Any surprises? Who you think gonna show up?
Of course, the wife.
Of course, Alicia.
Yeah.
Would love for Missy to show up.
Yeah, I want Missy to show up. That'd be dope.
Maybe a little Genuine show up.
Magoo.
Magoo.
He ain't doing nothing else. What the fuck else Magoo doing with his life? Hey, come on. When I first heard, I'm like, who is this wannabe Q-Tip ass?
I know,
nigga?
right? Yeah, I know Q-Tip. I know. I said Q-Tip. Come on, yo, your rhyme ain't that bad. Like, come on, step it up. He's like, bro, what happened? I zip deep the beat. I beat a what? You Cosby? Bill Cosby zip. Okay. Dang, cute. How you went from short check out you remember mesmerized with black hair and a fat ass thigh to this? Disrespectful, bro.
Yeah. Definitely wanna see, some dope people come out. I love the comment section to see who's there, who's going to be in the, because Tony Baker going to be in there. He acted full. I think there was
And
like a
keeping
petition or
score.
something to kind of like block Tony Baker from all the verses.
Yo, that's crazy though, man. Like I rock with Tony Baker keeping score and everything.
And he keeps a scorecard too.
That's what I'm saying.
He's one of the scorecard guys. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I just think this is going to be another one of those ones that the culture wins. Everybody's gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is definitely a culture. This is definitely a culture joint. Yeah.
The weather in this region has been terrible for the weekend, but
in my Joe Button voice, trash.
Yeah, it's been garbage. This just the weekend. Monday it'll be warming up. It won't be raining. Thank goodness. But yeah, man, I think this is going to be one of them things, especially when you in the crib because it's cold and rainy outside on Memorial Day weekend, and you like, this is some bullshit. It's like
it is some bullshit.
But at least we got some good music, a good verses. It'll be entertaining. It'll be fun. You know what I mean? And so it'll be like verses and NBA playoffs for me, man. Oxtails on deck too.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Going
sir.
down. I got some leftover Cheesecake Factory. I'm about to make small cakes and get a couple of cupcakes.
I'm in my small cakes recovery right now. pray for me.
Shout out to small cakes. Yeah, man, I can't wait. So we gotta cut this short. Hopefully we can do a part. I would love to do a part 2. Maybe not next week, but another time. So on that note, quick shout outs. Birthday shout out to my man King Kyle. Know what I'm saying? He down in Florida celebrating. Salute to him. You feel me? I know later on this week, my little homie Abby, her birthday coming up. Happy early birthday. Shout out to her. I know what else is going on? Yeah. That's pretty much it on shout outs to me. Shout out to everybody that's checking this out. And
shout out.
Follow us on all social media. Everything's blood on everything. And yeah, enjoy y'all rest of y'all Memorial Day weekend, man.
Indeed.
Yep. On that note, y'all, it's episode 31. All three of us is in this joint. Brion, Tommy, Mr. Sean. Peace out, y'all.
Be safe.
Yes, be safe, please.